New mythics items. What the fuck? Hang on. What? Okay. What? Oak Soul Ring adds 300 weapon and spell damage, adds 300 of nearly 4,000 armor, 300 health recovery, 300 magic recovery, 300 stat. What the? While equipped, you are unable to swap between your primary and... Alright, boys and girls. Where do we start? Oaken Soul Ring is the stupidest piece of armor / gear that ZeniMax has ever brought into this game. It's beyond stupid. And this is just the final nail in the coffin as far as I'm concerned with any doubt that I had with where ZeniMax wants to take this game and where it's heading. They want a lower skill level in this game to the point where anyone can literally grab a keyboard, roll their face across it, and do well in PvP. So, you may not have seen or properly clearly seen in the intro, but this set gives 300 weapon and spell damage, nearly 4,000 armor, 300 of all 3 recoveries, and 2.7k of all 3 max stats. But you cannot bar swap. Now, I understand from the point of view of a game developer where you want to make a game as accessible as possible. And I agree with that, and I think making gear and being able to level up faster and that kind of stuff easier and more accessible for new players is great. Carrying new players and rewarding lazy and bad playstyles and that kind of stuff is not the way to go. It isn't benefiting new players, it isn't benefiting veteran players, because at the end of the day, when you lower the skill level, you're lowering it for everyone. So a bad player or a new player coming into the game, yeah, they go out to PvP and they get wrecked by someone that's been playing the game for a lot longer. That's what should happen. But now they're going out and getting wrecked by other new players because their proc sets went off, or they're better geared, or like things that aren't skill based. And when you have this kind of thing, there's no clear reward for a player. There's no, oh yeah, I've spent 2 weeks, practicing, and I've got better, and I can really feel that. Like, the game's rewarding me for getting better. That kind of feeling is what makes a player want to continue to play and continue to spend money on your game. Yeah, it's all good. This is going to make a casual player that comes in here and there want to play more, but generally, they're not the ones that are hanging around, and they're not the ones that are spending the money. I don't know what else to say besides this set will more than likely be nerfed. I'm pretty confident about that. They did it with Sifis. They got everyone to pre-order the game, and then they nerfed it into the absolute ground. It is actually freaking a joke that they do not, they're going to pretend like they think this is an acceptable set. They know this is going to get nerfed. They know what the community is going to react. I think for this set to be reasonable, at the very least, they need to lose the max stats. If you lose the max stats, you're still getting weapon damage, you're still getting armor, you're still getting recovery. It's OP without the max stats, and that's saying something. You could just give 2,000 armor, 2,000 spell damage, 200 recoveries, and it's a strong set still. So when you can nerf something by that much, and it still be strong, you've got a freaking issue. Let's talk about the set that interests me, or the mythic that interests me the most. Now, this is Dove Ra Sapatons. I probably absolutely butchered the frick out of that, but While sprinting, gain a stack of Dodonic speed every 0.5 seconds, granting you 660 armor up to 20 stacks max. Upon stopping, you deal 170 physical damage per stack in an 8-meter shockwave and retain Dodonic speed for 10 seconds, but cannot gain new stacks. At 20 stacks, this damage will also stun for 3 seconds. The damage from this ability scales off the higher of your physical or spell resistance. So basically, if you sprint for 10 seconds, you're going to get just over 13,000 resistances. We don't really know what the damage is going to be like. Obviously, it's dependent on your resistances, so we will have to test that. A lot of resistances, but if you look at it in this way, even if you sprint for 5 seconds, you're still going to get 7k and do some damage. It's very interesting. We'll have to see. Also, something that I'm not quite sure about is once you hit that 20 stacks, you're not going to gain more, but does it just sit there and wait for you to stop sprinting and then it pocs, or once it hits 20 stacks, does it automatically go off? I don't know. It's worth testing because 13,000 resistances from a one-piece mythic is pretty crazy, but that being said, 10 seconds is a pretty long time. If you look at it in the way that's 50% uptime, because you're getting 10 seconds to get there, 10 seconds after. Next up, I think, could be a magic sorcerer meta set. It's Druid's Braid. I'm probably, actually, I guarantee you I'm butchering all these names. It gives you 1500 max health, 1400 max magic, 1400 max stam, 1500 max health, and 1400 max magic. So this is just giving you an absolute pile of max stats. Now, the funny thing about this is you're getting almost the same amount of resistances out of that one-piece mythic as this 5-piece set is giving you. Just to give you an idea of how broken that mythic is. But anyway, a lot of max stat. I think it could quite easily become meta on Magsaw, because obviously they love their max magic, and you're also getting the other resources that you will need in a build. Now, Left-Hander's War, Griddle. Dodge roll no longer evades attack and instead grants a damage shield that absorbs up to 21,000 damage over 1 second. This damage shield is unaffected by Battle Spirit, so you're basically getting just over a $20,000 damage shield over 1 second. I get it, this will be nice against like heavy attack builds or J-beams, also like ground-based stuff, but I can't really see giving up a mythic slot for this. One of the other mythics is basically an XP mythic, so you're getting critical chance, but it also adds 10% increased inspiration, so alliance skills, monster kill experience. So yeah, it's basically an XP. Obviously, if you're farming and grinding characters, this could be really nice, especially for leveling up alliance ranks. If you're mainly a PvE player, that's kind of what I see this is being made for. People have bitched about leveling up PvP ranks as a PvE player, so they've gave you a way of increasing that. To be honest, if this is like a lot of the other new mythics and takes 20 hours to grind, then it's realistically not worth it as an existing player. But if you're a new player and you're starting from scratch, 10% experience across the board with a lot of stuff, you know, from the beginning is really, really strong. We'll see. Maybe they'll make the grind way less toxic than it was in the previous updates, but they're basically the main sets that I think are interesting. One of the other mythics is while at full health, you gain a 40% damage resistance. After attacking damage while at full health in combat, you gain Serpent's Reboot for 10 seconds, snaring yourself for 40%, and gaining Major Berserk and Mage Courage, increasing your damage done by 10% and your weapon and spell damage by 430. This damage resistance does not apply while Serpent's Reboot is active, so basically you can't get the 40% damage resistance and the increased damage at the same time. Interesting, it is a lot of damage. 10% and 430 is that, like, weapon damage is a lot of damage. The snares, pretty toxic, but if you're, lining up a lot of burst, this could be really nice. Do you pair it with Iron Blood and, just make yourself basically a standing still tank that can, dish out a heap of freaking damage? It'll be very interesting to see how some of these sets come out. Now, before we go, before you thought all the stupidity was over, ZeniMax went and showed that, they're not going to bring out one dumb set. They'll bring out 2 dumb sets. I honestly think they don't think this stuff through sometimes. So this set, Steadfast Metal, gives you stam recovery, max stam, while you have a food buff active, reduce the cost of your core combat abilities by 25%. Now you may read that and go, oh yeah, okay, that's interesting, that could kind of be cool, until you realize that that's block. That's reducing the cost of block. Perma-blocking in the game is already a massive issue. Now they've just made it a whole lot worse. Through CP, you can get another 25%. I'm pretty sure it's another 25%. So yeah, 50%. 50% reduced block costs just there between those 2 things. This could actually be an interesting set for me. 25%. So 25%, your core abilities are like dodge roll, CC break, block obviously. It does cover quite a bit. Sprint. So basically all of the things that aren't a skill practically. Could be interesting. It could be a viable option. I don't think outside of utilizing it for block builds in a way, I don't think this will be good enough to run without working that into your build, if that makes sense. You definitely backbar it on your sword and board bar. But yeah, we'll go through all these sets on Monday when the PTS comes out. I just wanted to kind of give my thoughts on it and give you guys a look at it. Some interesting stuff. The sprint set that gives you armor, the mythic that gives you armor after sprinting, I think definitely interests me the most. I want to play around with it. There's a few things that come in mind, like stage 4 vamp, the stealth to sprint kind of thing. You could sprint, come out of stealth and, be really tanky and, hit people really hard. Could be interesting on like a dark cloak stam knight blade or something like that. But yeah, let me know in the comment section what you think, guys. I'm interested to know what you think about the mythic. Not being able to bar swap, I think, is such a dumb, stupid thing that it anyway, I'm ending this video before I get fucking mad again. And I love you all, boys and girls. If you want to ask me any questions, feel free to join my Twitch. I stream most days, and also my Discord link will be in the description. Have a good one, boys and girls.